automation solutions, a capital-intensive and critical activity. For the same, I would like to introduce the moderator. Mr. Mukesh Nandan Jha is a seasoned professional in power sector with over 2 decades of experience in companies like KEC, Adani, UB, Reliance, and presently in VIKRAN Group. He specializes in purchases and contracts, focusing on techno-commercial aspects and supply chain management. Notable achievements include leading procurement and tender activities for substation and battery energy storage systems. Let's welcome everybody, Mr. Mukesh Nandan Jha, General Manager, Supply Chain and Logistics from VIKRAN Engineering and Exim Private Limited. Up next, I would request the following panelists to join us on the stage. Mr. Ponraj Periswami, Head of Supply Chain Management. Mr. Pradeep Kumar Sharma, Associated Vice President, Supply Chain Management from Sun Pharma. Mr. Keyur Kotecha, AVP Supply Chain Management from Mart Digital. Mr. Ronak Shah, Executive Director, V-Trans India and CEO of V-Logis from V-Trans. Mr. Aroon Fernandes, Senior General Manager, Strategic Sourcing and Supply Chain Management from Bharat Bijlee Limited. And Mr. Anil Dalvi, Vice President, Supply Chain from Tata Play Limited.
Members, thanks to audience also. So before lunch, our one of the session, so it's tough to interact with you all and make interesting to all of you, but I assure with my all the DICE member and speaker who can explain their points on the automations and their critical activity, what comes on. So major we speak, so first I request to all of them also when they will start at least 1 and 2 line about their selves and then start on the topics. So I, Mukesh Jha, already explained by Gain Skill team that more than 20 years of experience into the supply chain and connected with power sector. So major focus with the since last 20 years. So I've seen many challenges in the supply chain, and logistics. Connected with all the members like buyer and supplier and the transporter. So all 3 members connected with last 20 years. And as a special, some of the renewable energy connections with many companies, like I have done a solar during Adani also, and with KEC for the Avada power, and third now VIKRAN group with IRCON. So these are the major what I have seen since last expertise into that. All the members having the subject matter expertise and they could connect on the decision making for automation solutions and capital intensive and critical activity. So I will not take much time and we will start on the topics briefing about that. So the time of the supply chain, if I consider, it's 114 years back, 1910, with Ford of the story and supply chain, smart supply chain, which started in 1910. Now we are into the very special smart supply chain and India becoming one of the growth market for others also. So I will start with first this Ronak and Pradeep. So one of the questions they will cater on the same, and that's point is that what are the key drivers behind the increasing adoption of automation solutions in the supply chain? So Pradeep, you could start and then Ronak will add it on.
Yeah, thank you Mukesh, and thank you Gain Skill for this wonderful participation in this panel discussion. So as you shared, the supply chain itself has evolved a lot. So supply chain, which was conventionally considered as only logistics and warehouses, so now and as a function it was supported as considered as a support function. Now it has moved to the business enablement function. So now supply chain has to take lots of decision which will make the organizations enabled, more profitable and more sustainable. So being a business enablement function, the supply chain is now responsible for designing and defining the portfolio of the organization. Previously, it was part of the front end, but now the supply chain, they also work for portfolio. They now work for cost to serve, because now last a decade now people are talking about the cost to serve. And at the same time, because now organization are sitting with the huge amount of data, huge amount of information. So what is to be done with those sort of information, how to make a meaningful conclusion out of it. So the automation is required. And because it is evident that the effective responsiveness and efficiency level improvement are seen once we go and move for the automation. And if we see now the business is, the way business is being done is now changed. Now previously it was more of a geographies, now the global is the market. So very, very complex network and very customer expectations are now increasing. Now we come across the customer, they want to see the real-time status of their order. Previously we were talking that give us the lead time and we will service your order. Now they want, what I have put my order in your portal, what is happening to my order, I want to see the real time. So these are the major things which are happening in supply chain domain, and it is required. Third is very, very important, is because now you see the talent which is coming to the supply chain. Previously you can see the certain resources, those who are good in Excel or those who are good in communicating with the senior management were being inducted to supply chain. Now the people, those who are pursuing the supply chain as a career, they now talk about more factor-driven, more data-driven decision making, and they talk about demand sensing, they talk about the statistical models for demand and supply planning. So these are the 3-4 major areas which I feel that these are the key driver when organization has to think about the automation.
Yeah. So perfect, Pradeep. I think one of the major point what he also added on, that speed. So speed in decision, speed in operations, and speed in the improvement cycle. So that comes when we are discussing about the automation, when discussing about the critical parameters into the supply chain, logistics and MM. So I could ask, Ronak will add it on this, that how much we can connect with all the fleets.
Thank you, Mukesh. First of all, a very good afternoon to all of you. And thank you to Gain Skills for putting up a wonderful event. It is really, really heartening to see, an august audience, present over here, and, to be able to have this opportunity to address. I am Ronak Shah. I am the Executive Director at VTrans India Limited and the CEO of V-Logis, our warehousing arm. I head the entire warehousing operations. If I were to come to the question, what are the key drivers, that are, actually, pushing all of us to, really think about automation, or increase the adoption of automation. Since morning, I think we've been hearing every single speaker, whatever the topics that they were addressing, automation was a key part of all their presentations. So that itself just goes on to say that you cannot ignore automation in the time and age that we live in. But to my mind, if I were to put it out, in very simple words, there are 5 or 6 critical drivers. Number one is efficiency improvement. By automating, one of the key advantages that any organization can get is that of efficiency improvement. If I were to, give an example, of our company or, share a case study with you where we have benefited greatly, is that of, for one of our businesses, we have optimized our FMLM. So by FMLM, I mean the first mile and the last mile leg of our distribution business. By that, what we've done is, initially when, our associate or our, ground staff used to go for a pickup, he was expected to, first get all the documents from the client, go through the document and do all the entries manually, in the system, on the tablet, or, carry a physical consignment note and fill the requisite information. Now what we've done is, we have integrated our system with the e-way bill and the GST portal of the government, which has benefited us tremendously. By this, what we've been able to do is, we've been able to integrate the e-invoice number that is there on the invoice of the client and the QR code, that is there on the invoice. And if the client is not having an e-invoice, then we have also developed capabilities to link the e-way bill number. So if we have either of these information and we just put it in our application, all the basic parameters or the information that is required to book that consignment is automatically populated onto the system. So the person is not required to fill in any information related to the information that is already captured on one of these portals. So now what the person has to do is, he just has to do three things. He just has to physically count the number of articles that are there. He has to check the dimension and the weight of the consignment. That is about it. So initially, on an average, our people used to take anywhere between 1.5 to 2 minutes to book a single consignment. Now we've been able to bring that time to close to only 30 seconds. So this is the kind of optimization that we've been able to do by automating, one process, which is the first mile part of it. And even in the last mile, we've optimized or we've automated our entire POD cycle. So POD, as we all know, stands for proof of delivery. This is again a very, very important document that is required by each and every one of you, when you want to, close a shipment, or when you want to claim, the freight or the amount, with your customers. So we've developed a system whereby, our people are able to scan the POD copy at the delivery point itself and upload it onto our system. So even before the physical copy reaches the branch office, our team is able to see, whether we've got a clean POD or no, was there any remarks that are captured, were there any exceptions, whether there is any, important thing, which is, the name, the signature, the stamp, the date, whether any of these critical points are missing onto the POD copy, so that before the driver or the, operation person leaves the customer place, we are able to call him up and ask him to, get the complete POD, available with him, or, take the missing information or capture the missing information also onto the document. So these are, two such initiatives. We've done multiple, automation initiatives in our company, and they've helped us optimize to a very, very large extent. So optimizing, improving efficiency is one key driver. Another key driver is cost optimization. So, there are, in all companies, we have so many tasks which are repetitive in nature, which need to be done on day in and day out basis. Ideally, to my mind, these are the tasks that need to be addressed first, because that is where you will see the maximum output. For companies who are just starting out their automation journey, it is always advisable to address those tasks first. Then once you've got the basics in place, then you can move on to, the other, more difficult tasks and try to automate them. So that is number two. Next is scalability. So any organization who wants to scale up has to invest in automation, because without this, without automizing, it is very, very difficult to scale up. Take for example the Amazons of the world, or maybe a Zara's of the world. They are present at almost all countries, probably 150 plus countries, both these companies. And they've been able to manage their business and grow their business only because of automation, various kinds of automation that they've incorporated in their system. So that is another thing. Improved customer service. So if you want to, have an improved customer experience, if you want your clients to, have real-time visibility, if you want to improve your order processing times, if you want to, give visibility to the customer as to where the shipment is, automation is critical, because without automation, it is humanly impossible to track each and every consignment and, give information on consignment level to your clients as your business increases. So that is another point. And last but not the least, I feel, agility and resilience. So this is a very, very important point. We all realized, or we all saw, during COVID, companies or organizations, or more importantly, supply chains of these companies, where companies where their supply chains were not agile and not, resilient, they took longer time to bounce back, when COVID hit. Versus companies which had, agility, which had processes, they were able to bounce back very quickly. So basically, such events can come in any time. We've seen multiple events come across. So if you want your company to be better prepared, if you want your company to be able to bounce back quickly and to have that first mover advantage, it is advisable to automate. So these, according to me, are some of the very, very basic key drivers which, can, push you for automation. Thank you.
Yeah, so great points. I think best practical examples what he derived from his company organization as well. So 2-3 points where we can connect that data analytics, collections of gathering of information from the market, and then analyze. Because what is the purpose of automation is basically to remove the human error or minimize the human error what we are facing since last 100 years. Because I remember and I got many points. I understand that Ford has started in the 1910 with a smart supply chain in that era. And then we are connecting with last 20 years with the help of automation solutions only and with the market trend who can provide us a data in a open forum where anyone can access that data and connect with easy to access and make the cost effectiveness. That's main. So I come to Anil, and Anil, I think I want to connect with you one of the major questions, that's emerging trends and technology in supply chain automation that companies should be aware of, because the nowadays companies should focus on how to enhance their capability and reduce their resources with respect to the optimal use of that resources. So please, you can connect on that organization's level.
Thanks, Mukesh. I hope I am audible. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Anil Dalvi. I represent Tata Play. Just for everybody's information, because I met a lot of people during the break and they were asking, Tata Play, what you do? So I'm sure people are aware the brand name Tata Sky. So 2 years back, we changed our brand and Sky has gone out and Play has come because that resonates our industry. So it is the same company, Tata Sky, now known as Tata Play. Coming to my small introduction, I am taking care of operations, heading operations for Tata Play for last 8 years, with 23 years of overall experience majorly from telecom background and then working with some IT companies and life science companies. I am working with Tata Play since 2015 and I am fortunate to be a part of complete digital transformation and automation of supply chain function in Tata Play. So we have gone through the journey of the legacy systems, and now we have reached to the stage where we can say that we are pioneering the digital and automation journey in our organization. We are sharing our best practices with other Tata Group companies. Mukesh, the question that you have asked, that what are the trends and technologies that different organizations and industries should be aware of. I'm sure automation and digitization is now the priority for all the organizations. Whenever there are strategies being defined for all the organizations, the first area which they want to focus is what automation and digital transformation we are going to do this year. So it is no more an option. It is like when the internet came into the industry, people were thinking whether we should go for internet, or when the ERP came into the picture, whether we should go for ERPs like SAP, Oracle. Now, can any industry survive without ERPs? There is no more option. So similarly, automation and digital transformation is no more option. Every organization has to thought about it, has to put strategy and has to put action plan around it. Now, to support that strategy and action plan, there are different technologies available in the market. And the walk of the talk right now is artificial intelligence. Every organization or there are different organizations who are working on artificial intelligence solutions. But very important part for every industry and every organization is what suits their business. It's not about whether Amazon is doing it or Flipkart is doing it, and if they are doing it, I have to do it. It's not about that. So there has to be a core team in every organization who has to evaluate the need of automation and digital transformation. They have to explore different options available in the market, different technologies available in the market, and then they have to correlate their need with respect to the solutions which are available, and then evaluate different options from cost perspective as well as the features perspective, and then decide their strategy, what they have to implement. So the pressure of implementing automation or digital transformation is always there, but you have to take right call at the right time, evaluating what is the return on investment that you are going to do. Now coming to the different trends and technologies, as I mentioned, artificial intelligence is on the top of the chart. After that, you have Internet of Things. So where you have RFIDs, there are a lot of connected devices available now in the market. I have come across different institutes who are giving the devices which are even small size of button size devices which you can put into the cartons, and they will able to trace your material movement to the end customer. And even the same can be used for the reverse logistics also. Normally, all the e-commerce companies and even the companies who are dealing with B2C transactions, the major focus is always on forward logistics. But now there is, as everybody will agree, there is a lot of focus on reverse logistics also. Especially when there are no questions asked, reverse logistics policies are being given by e-commerce companies. Now it is becoming more and more relevant that the focus should be there on reverse logistics as compared to forward logistics, because that is where it becomes more cost impact to the organization. So that is the second technology which every company should look forward. Wherever reverse logistics is involved, Internet of Things or even the GPS tracking kind of technologies has to be evolved. The third technology which we have to focus is RPA. I think since morning we had a lot of presentations and people talk about RPA, where we have to identify the redundant activities and time-consuming, effort-consuming activities, which RPA can immediately replace. Because RPA is nothing but it replaces human and do the same activities at the volumetric level. And especially RPA is something where you are not dependent on a person sitting in front of the laptop or a computer. You define the things and it will do overnight. Especially if you are working in a MNC culture and your the activities are happening in the daytime, the night time the reconciliation can happen, or the activities can happen in the night and the morning you get all the results ready for you. The only flip side of RPA is if you don't do the groundwork properly, and if there is a small error at the time of implementation, the error will get replicated at the million times, which is the flip side of the RPA. So you have to spend, a small example I can give is if you have 6 hours to implement RPA, you should ensure you should spend 4 hours to ensure that the RPA is properly implemented and 2 hours to execute things. Because if you don't spend time in implementation or designing of RPA, the mistake can be replicated at a mammoth level. So that is the third technology. The fourth one is currently, which is lot of solutions available in the market, which is the SaaS solutions being given by different organizations. Even big ERP companies like SAP or Oracle, they are also going into cloud and offering their ERP as a SaaS to different organizations. We at Tata Play has also implemented one P2P tool, which is procure-to-pay tool, over and above as a layer on SAP. There was no need, but the need arose when end users started coming and saying that it is very difficult to log in into SAP and do transactions every time. So then we realized that there has to be some another layer which can create an ease for the end users. So we implemented one P2P tool over and above SAP, where people can log in either through their browser or through a mobile app and do whatever transactions which they are doing right now in ERP. So these are SaaS platforms which are available and which are easily scalable. They can handle volumes, and the biggest benefit of SaaS is you get the updated version every time. Every time you log in, all the features which they have incorporated into SaaS are readily available for you, because that is a license-based or a perpetual license-based solutions which are available. So I think these are different. It is very difficult for me to capture all the technologies which are available, but these are the top of the chart technologies which are currently all the organizations are evaluating. And if you ask me to conclude, the trend which I have to talk about is the AI. AI, ML are the technologies which all companies should explore and see how they can utilize it for their implementation.
Perfect, perfect. In addition to Anil, so what is our purpose? So our purpose is ease of doing business. So ease of doing business is with the help of automation in the nowadays what we are challenging with the market. But automation comes with many challenges, like what is the talent gap, I think, because you need to understand that the talent gap is there. So who can handle automation solution system? All we are using at our corporate level. So is that talent gap who focus for us and which shall be the important for us? So same SaaS is an automation panel. Same we need to connect with the talent gap. So how we can give them the special sessions, special training to cope up with all these automations platforms and expedite our businesses. Because this is completely depending on the reduction in the human error and come forward with a data at one platform. So anyone can access and get the best data to a higher management. So higher management can give a final decision and decision on the different category, different platforms. Because questions comes when you are going with supply chain demand. So one is the supply and another is the demand by the market. So then we can connect when automation will come. So we can get all the parameters that what's the figures going on, what's the currency is in the market, and what will comes with which cost. So that is the driven and that is the management to decide. So they need to handle a immediate data, ready access data. So they can use their mobile, they can use the tool, PMO tool, and they can immediately ask, yes, this is my supply chain demand, and we can continue with the assessment of the same. So I can come to Keyur and ask Keyur to add that how can companies ensure that automation solutions are integrated seamless into their existing supply chain process, because they need how they can smooth the business with the help of the seamless.
Yeah, I think it's a really relevant question, and thank you, Mukesh, for asking that. Good afternoon, everyone. Before giving that response, I would like to thank Gainskill for organizing such an amazing event. It's wonderful audience out there. Yeah, and coming to the question about how can we seamlessly integrate the automation solutions with the existing processes, right? So I think most of the companies, barring few startups in India, right, because they are starting from scratch and they don't have any baggage, but most of the companies are having legacy system, as you have mentioned, right? That the most of the companies are having legacy systems, and typically all those legacy systems are inherently not compatible with the new age solutions, and that comes with certain limitations, right? And let me kind of give you a few examples. Like if you want to implement a state-of-the-art WMS solution, which in the morning people were presenting, right? You may want to kind of implement the WMS solution, but and there is a promise engine also which you implement in the order OMS side of it. But what happens if you have an inventory which is being consumed by multiple format of yours? Like if you have an online format, if you have offline format, if you have your own stores, if you have the marketplace, right? The same inventory is being consumed at all the places, right? And what may happen is like, you give certain promises to the customer, but that inventory is consumed by another format of yours. Maybe the state-of-art solution of WMS or order engine or promise engine may not work, right? If you have not built-in solutions which can enable the existing businesses or probably existing processes, right? Probably another examples, like you may want to implement the route planning software, right? But your master data is not correct properly. Then, it's just garbage in, garbage out, right? It will give the worst solution, right? You say that, I am not able to optimize it, but The problem is not with the solution which is being offered by the new age companies. Probably the problem is with our legacy systems which we are using it, right? That is not kind of, cooperating with the automations which we want to incorporate, right? So to kind of, solve all those problems, what we need to do is, I think the very first thing is, let's have the honest assessment of our own supply chain. That, what is our technological capabilities, what is our infra capabilities. Like one of the presentation earlier, they were saying that, that particular solution may work good with certain bandwidth, right? And if we don't have that bandwidth, probably that solution, even if there is the best solution, may not work, right? So we need to see what is my infra capability, what is my technological capability. So we need to do the honest assessment of our capability. That's, I think, the very first start to kind of, integrate the process in right manner. Second is let's have the capacity planning and implement it in a phase manner. I mean, you can't really change a truck to Mercedes. You can, but it will take time. Yeah. So let's let's just focus on what are your major pain point, or the biggest issue, or probably the biggest benefit which you want right now from the automation, and just focus out there. Do the automation of that particular processes and systems, integrate it well, then go and kind of add on to layers out there, so on and so forth, right? That's, I think, you can do. Third thing is you need to focus on the compatibility. I mean, your software should be compatible with your existing systems. You want to, probably your finance team wants to have that P&L created, right? And for that P&L, they want to have certain data point. And what if and they are kind of drawing that from your existing ERP or existing software, right? And it should be kind of, your automation should be supporting to all the legacy systems, right? And that's where the compatibility come into picture, interoperability come into picture, that it has to be interoperable. So that's kind of third major piece which probably we need to take care of while we are integrating the processes, or probably the automations. Yeah. The fourth piece. Yeah.
So right. So I think Keyur, we are just running with the shortage of time, but your points are well described to them. And one of the major points where we can understand data analytics, we can also discuss on the same platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So just to kind of conclude on that piece, how should we how can we integrate the process? So one is the vanilla solution probably may not work, right? So whenever you are implementing the processes, you really need to analyze the data, as you rightly said, and you have to customize the solution so that it can be implemented in a better manner, right? So customizing is something, of course. And very last point, I will not take much time, but the last point is take the consensus call in your company. Otherwise, what will happen is, you might want to implement something, but other stakeholders will come up with certain requirement, let's say finance, or let's say sales, or let's say other stakeholders, right? So whenever you are implementing any automations, I think the consensus management is very, very important and play a critical role. I think we all have observed that, right? So I think, yeah, that's about it.
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Correct. So I am moving to Aroon, but before giving to his, adding to their point in the same platform, I remember one of the data analysts at my company when we are facing the shortage of labor. So automation system also help there also. So we have a PMO tools, and we can pan-India, we can connect it with each individual subcontractors who they have. And they have the manpower facilities, they can mention online. They have mentioned online that I have a 50 manpower and I have 40 manpower. So we have a data gathered from pan-India. We have in a one platform PMO tools. I can connect with them, and I can easily connect with them and talk with them that how much manpower you can provide. So this is one of the platform where we can connect in the reduction of the issues which we raised by the this labor shortage of labor. So I'm coming to Aroon, and I think Aroon, I need your points on this data analytics play in our major organizations, because without that, no any management can decide that how much you are going to cost incur into the portfolio, or in any of the software you can't invest and can't focus on the prices to be there, because that all the softwares having some major cost to us. So what is the data analytics process with the organizations that we can?
I'll like to answer this question a bit differently because I come from an engineering industry. We are into manufacturing of motors and transformers. But I belong to the section of motors which is very voluminous in nature. So motor is used in any other application if you see in a pump industry, cement industry, sponge iron industry. And we compete in a market which is called the red ocean. You know, all of us know because every competitor is trying to vie for each other's blood, you know, because it's a very product sensitive market, price sensitive market. So we were in a stage in 2010, and I'm talking of holistic supply chain as a whole. You know, how we approach the issue and what we thought would be good for the company as a strategy. So I would say in one way that analytics and technology, yes, it is there because unless and until you don't have, you cannot proceed further as an organization. So somewhere in 2010, where we were, you know, on a forecasting model, I said there's nothing wrong with that because most of the presentation was on demand forecasting and forecasting model. But we thought at that point as the top management that we will think differently. Now you need to see where you stand at that point of time and what is the strategy you're going to use for the whole supply chain. Again, I'm saying that we were using holistic approach. So we decided that we will go for a consumption model. So we adopted what we call as the theory of constraints philosophy in 2010. And, you know, it's a big paradigm change. See, we have been in this industry for the last 78 years. And the best part of learning is unlearning. So you are going into a strategy which is totally opposite to what forecasting is. But we thought that we have to sort of carve a niche in this red ocean where we say that, you know, we can differentiate ourselves and not fight with our competitors in the market on price because we are one of the 4 major competitors in the market, you know. So we compete with big multinationals. We are not a multinational. So that is how we proceeded on. And data analytics and everything helped us. And in this last 15 years, you know, we have tried to sort of carve a differentiator, and we call it as a decisive competitive edge. So we decided as a company that we are going to use 2 decisive competitive edges. And for us, definition and abbreviations are very important because if you have to define what is a decisive competitive edge, it is an ability of an organization to meet or to satisfy the most significant need of the customer. So I'm saying from input to the output of how you deal with the customer that no competitor can compete or replicate. So what I'm trying to say, it is a strategy which is good for you, okay? And if any of the competitors feel at the moment that I need to replicate that, it will be very difficult because you are talking about a transformation of the whole supply chain. So right from your input of the orders till you go out. So there were 2 decisive competitive edges because if we look at our business, 65% comes from the trade market. So we have dealers, channel partners, and about 35 comes from OEMs, you know, OEMs and project related business. So we said we'll have 2 decisive competitive edge. One is called availability, which means that you ensure that your product is available at the right place at the right time when the customer comes in. So you are competing with the competitors who also have the same product. So we are talking about a product where the customer tolerance time is 0. So he expects that particular product or that particular SKU actually off the shelf. And second is, we said is MTO, which is make to order, which is more for project business and OEMs, which is very specific, tailor-made to the customer, where the customer has a certain tolerance time. Now for us, using analytics and the technology which was available to get the information, because when I talk about consumption model, it's a pull-based model. And you need to create a pull. What is easy actually as a company, you know, where you put the measures in place, where you can change people, you know, because paradigm change, I think, is the biggest challenge everyone has. But if you put the correct measures in place, you know, you can do that. And that is what we moved out from what we call as the local optima to a global optima. So we are looking at the whole supply chain as a whole. And I was in the first presentation, I think I saw a chain which was shown, you know, and TOC says that the chain is stronger, which is equal to the weakest link. The strength of this chain is decided by the weakest link of the chain. And when we look at interconnected functions, how TOC works as a consumption model and as a philosophy, is that when the systems are interconnected, the constraints are minimum. So we are not talking about Pareto principle here. It's a principle which was developed by Legrand, So you have a lot of interconnection. We believe in all the organizations, all the functions are interconnected. So you have an ERP in place, but you need to find where the constraint is. And we started our first 6 years to remove the constraint from our operations, because that was the first constraint. So we released a lot of capacity, to the market, which we were able to serve our customers. And we had two major disruptions, and that is where I want to emphasize is where we could differentiate. So one was from the government. So it was a statutory requirement where you have no escape. It was told that you need to go from a certain efficiency, which is a common product in the market, to a higher efficiency. So it was a diktat which was given. We had 6 months to change over. So you're talking about an efficiency of a product which is contributing to 80% of my sale at that point of time. And in 6 months, that 80% is going to be 0%. And the 20% has to become 100%. So it was quite a challenge for us. So when we moved into this consumption model, we were able to handle what we call as obsolescence, because everything changed. Your component changed, your design changed, because you have to give that efficiency. The second disruption was, of course, COVID. And, one of the things to create a pull and to see that the customer realizes it, a good schematic diagram was shown about how the RDCs work. So we have a model in transportation where we say we have a plant warehouse, which is in Bhiwandi, and then we have regional warehouses. Now, since the maximum variation happens at the point of consumption, we kept those RDCs. We had this all interconnected, we had the technology, and we used it to our advantage. And what we saw is a good return on investment. That is what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to say, I'm trying to, sort of summarize the last 15 years what we have done. But not 15 years, I'm talking about, 13 years. It's been quite a big task for us. And it is nothing to do with forecasting, at least. I'm not saying it is wrong, but it did not work for us.
I think, Aroon, one sentence we have, vocal for local. So, but now Aroon wants to add that local to global, right? So I'm coming and I'm moving to, because we are just shortage of time and we have to move and cater Ponraj also. So that, Ponraj, my question is that what the supply chain automation strategies are flexible and adaptable to the organization? How they can understand this point? Because supply chain automation strategies are not so simple. It's related to your cost also. It's completely output of the organization also. So how they can cater that this should be flexible or adaptable to all? Please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks, Mukesh. I think, how do I say it? Okay, we are on 21st of the month, and this month has only 29 days, and all the fellows are in one room, right? That shows you have some sort of automation at the back end. It may be any brand, it may be any software, or maybe any AI, ML, something is running at the behind, and right now you are getting all the pops on your mobile or a laptop, and you are getting your updates, what's happening. Yeah. So somewhere it is existing. It is not that AI, ML or automation is not there in the system, right? So that's quite evident that we are there in that field and it is already existing and we are living in that scenario. Now coming back to the point, how adaptable or flexible, I think adaptability and the flexibility has taught our COVID, right? Our beloved COVID, 2 years with us, and that has taught everything, how you can work without going to office, how you can live your daily life without going out of your house. You did everything possible and you managed it. So there you can see your adaptability and your flexibility there, it was existing. Now coming back, putting into a real-time scenario, I think there's more of 4 angle, which I looked at it, the 4 dimensions within the field of supply chain, which always keeps bothering you. Let me break it down this line into a Hindi so that we can, connect. And I know we are running out of time. It's lunch time. Nobody right now. So I'll try to connect you immediately on that angle. One is the way we speak, take away this, fancy language away. We always say, order aaya, माल उठाया, माल निकला, माल पहुंचा. These 4 questions you always answer 365 days, right? And if you are able to put these 4 questions answer with the usage of automation, using the word automation. See, suddenly a Excel MIS guy has turned out to be a data scientist, okay? He was not having that identity or a valuation. Over a period of last 2 to 3 years, this gentleman has turned out to be a data analytics, and his presence is most looked for. Like, where is my data? Where is my input? If this gentleman goes on a leave, boss is restless. I am restless. Everybody is restless. Now, we don't want to replace Suresh or Ramesh. All we want to see is, can this report be available at 6 o'clock every day morning before I hit my office? Do I have my real-time numbers? That's what is all about automation. Now you look at it, again the element here is, you cannot and I cannot replace Ramesh or Suresh, his intelligence. He is in the business, he is monitoring day and night, he is connected with your sales, he is connected with the team, and he has better real-time information than your automation. So let's not have a plan of replacing Ramesh. Let him be there. You equip him. You nurture him, you give him better tools in his hand, then he will give you better results. That's what all I want to put it across.
That's right. Ponraj, I think you have added 4 points. AI already, artificial intelligence we added. Second is the ML, machine learning, because machine has to think now. Third is the DS and DL. So deep learning with data science. I think he had added that point. So we have many questions. We have to come back once again with all our team manners panelists. But I think you all are seeing us with a different eyes. So, but I want to add Ronak, at least you could add 2 points. That what about the end-to-end visibility? I think Manoj spoke about that, but I need end-to-end visibility to enhance automation. Could we add a new thing? End-to-end visibility. You could, Acha, you both can.
See, end-to-end visibility is something which is very important right now. Like, if you take an example of Amazon, a small example.
With respect to automation.
Once you place an order, you expect that you get a visibility of when is your order getting shipped, where is it, which hub it is, when it is reaching to your city, when the person out for delivery, and when it is reaching your home and delivering the product. Similar way, when you are dealing with your customer, they are also expecting the same thing. But there are different handoffs and different legs in logistics where sometimes the end-to-end visibility is not possible, especially if you are going, we spoke in the morning about full truckload movements and then part truckload movements, where there are multiple handoffs happening. Tracking the shipment to the end mile becomes a difficult task. So, like in Tata Play, let me give my organization example. 60% of our transportation happens through part truckload movements, where we get a market vehicle and or sometimes it's a courier movement. It goes to a hub and from there it goes to the end mile customer. It is very difficult to track. We have approached many companies who can give us the probable solution, but till now we have not reached to the target. We are not able to get solution which can give us the last mile tracking and delivery. So it is a very important aspect from end-to-end visibility perspective. And one angle which I would like to bring in from automation, which Ponraj also mentioned, that skill development and the talent development is why it is very important, because when we are talking about digital transformation and automation, on the other hand, it is change management. We are changing something which was happening earlier, now it is changing into a different form. There is always a threat in the team that if the automation happens, our job is at stake. So it is very important from all the organization perspective that that threat has to go away from everybody's mind, that automation is not for replacing human, it is to enhance the productivity of the organization, and the time that you will save, you can invest into upskilling your productivity. So that is something which is very important if you have to make automation and digital transformation successful.
So, right. So it's completely with the cost, time and quality into this session so that we can enhance our capabilities, enhance our business model as well. So I can conclude on this, our decision making for the automations as well as the strategy driven point. In that, I could conclude with the, you please, I think.
I'll just add just one more thing, because on the measures that I spoke. So what is the effect of going into a different sort of a strategy? So there are 2 or 3 parameters which we measure ourselves whether the supply chain is working or not. So first was availability, as said. So it is measured by a certain percentage. So when we started off in 2010, our availability was 40, but just take the numbers for the sake of it. And today it is 99%. What it means that whenever a customer goes for any SKU that I have designed as an MTA product, he gets it off the shelf. So either it can be at any consumption point. So from 40, we have been to 99% consistently for last 2 years, okay? And then for reliability, we measure what we call as the due date performance. So in our system, when an order comes in, there is a date which is given. Earlier, we were 40 or 50% adhering to that date. Today, we are at 99%, which is also good, which has increased our sales. See, the effect is how we create a pull and how we use transportation, because we work with VTrans also. That velocity of how we deliver your product on time also becomes very critical for us. So for us, transportation, analytics, and whatever performance metrics we see is an enabler for us to increase our business. Thank you. I'm sorry for the time.
So we conclude because all are just behind us. So concluding on the same. So this panel discussions is coming with takeaway in our hands. That is the agile strategies, where enhance visibility, and third is the collaboration across industries. So its main the output is that with this automation we can come with the cost, time, and quality coming to the same dice as a platform. Thank you all speaker members. I think over to Jane Gainiskill.
Thank you for sharing your experiences. And I would request Sir to kindly join us and please felicitate.